So if you guys are pretty OG War Tycoon players, I'm sure you clearly remember the F-18 Hornet update, which actually has added a brand new change which covered the missiles no longer locking on through terrain. And as many people remember this clearly, the Abrams X Javelin, the JLTV Javelin, and the standard Javelin itself were basically deemed useless. And after that, no one was really using these vehicles a lot more. Like the current Javelin, it's pretty much no longer used. The JLTV is pretty much no longer used because it doesn't have that same power that it used to have. And really the only vehicle that didn't get impacted as much was the Abrams X, simply because of the fact that it was still one of the best tanks in the game. However, War Tycoon has actually made some changes in the brand new update, and those are actually secret changes which do allow the missiles to actually lock on through terrain. So as you guys are already aware, the previous maps have actually followed the Roblox terrain. However, the brand new one actually has a completely new terrain which pretty much avoids this whole entire problem, because this whole nerf basically happened for the older terrain which War Tycoon used to use. However, in this update they fully missed this out, and I believe that maybe this was done on purpose, but now the Javelins are actually able to lock on through walls and lock on through environment. Even if you're on any elevations, you'll still be able to lock onto the enemy, giving you a huge advantage if you're in the JLTV and the Abrams X. As you guys can even see in this clip, my friend Rutik is casually trying to hide away from me behind terrain, behind rocks, and he's also in another clip trying to get as far away as he can from me, trying to also break my lock in the best way possible by even moving around some elevation or just going behind more rocks, and the lock-on is still there. And the Abrams X actually has an impressive lock-on range of 2,200 stats, which would basically be allowing this tank to be back to the best state it's ever been, just because of the simple fact you're going to be having an advantage over your opponent knowing where they are at all times. So even though due to APS actually stopping you from being able to damage the opponent, back in the older days the drones didn't exist for the Abrams X, so now it basically has the ability to know where everyone is, but also can make up for that lost damage due to APS with its drones. However, the JLTV itself has also received pretty much the same buff, in a sense, now being able to lock on behind environment. However, do keep in mind that the JLTV hasn't changed and the Abrams X has changed, because the JLTV was still better on release due to the simple fact of APS, and it really didn't have a buff after that, so it simply is still going to be worse than it's been on release, but it's still really good, and I think it's going to be serving a much better use in the meta overall. And now lastly, looking at the Javelin, which used to be very annoying, but I don't think this is going to be the case anymore, simply because of the existence of the APS. You guys are pretty much just going to be safe in your tanks, so the Javelin is still going to be better, but it's again going to be more functioning as a tool to be able to see where the enemy is. Other than this, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys in today's video. Anyway, do let me know in the comment section down below if you think that this is a good buff for these vehicles. It was pretty secret. I do really hope that this was intentional and that it won't get nerfed next week just because I'm making this video. So let's just put our hopes and prayers in the comment section and tell Gizmo that this is not even that OP. I think this should stay in the game because it just makes some of the Game Pass vehicles a lot more unique. Anyway, see you guys next video, have a great day, and thanks so much to my channel members.